Hope you like
I
it
hope
too.
you like it, sweetie.
The
The
boy
boy
who
who
had
had
lost
lost hope.
hope.
Jungkook didn't pack, not immediately. He just stood there staring at Young. The apartment felt strangely quiet, as if everyone was waiting for him to say something. Anything. Finally, you can't be serious. Young crossed his arms. I am. Why would I move into your house? Because this place is terrible. That's not a reason. It is. No, it's not. It is for me. Jungkook groaned. This man was impossible. His aunt suddenly spoke. Then take him. The room went silent. Jungkook froze. She didn't even hesitate. Not a second. Not even a little. Just take him. Like giving away an old piece of furniture. Something unwanted. Something nobody needed. And for the first time, a tiny crack appeared in Jungkook. Not because it surprised him, because it didn't, and somehow that hurt more. His aunt looked relieved. Honestly, it would make things easier, his aunt said. Jungkook looked down. He should have been used to it by now, yet his chest still felt painful. Theong noticed, of course he did. He was beginning to notice everything about Jungkook, the way his smile disappeared when he was hurt, the way he looked away when things became painful, the way he acted like none of this mattered when it actually did. Theong's jaw tightened back. This time his voice was gentler, not by much but enough. Jungkook blinked. For some reason, that made it harder to refuse. An hour later, everything Jungkook owned fit into two bags. Just two. That was it. 23 years of life. Reduced to two bags. A few clothes, some books, medical documents, photos of his parents, nothing else. Theong stared at the bag, then at Jungkook, then at apartment. As they left, nobody stopped Jungkook. Nobody hugged him. Nobody wished him luck, nobody even looked up. His aunt simply returned to watching television, as if nothing had happened, as if he had never lived there. Jungkook stood by the door for a moment, waiting for something, anything. Nothing came. Eventually, he smiled sadly. The car ride was quiet. The city lights flared past the windows. Jungkook rested his head against the glass. His body hurt. Chemotherapy always made things worse before it got better. Nausea, pain, fatigue. Sometimes he wondered if the treatment was working. Then he remembered Theong's angry face whenever he talked like that, and almost laughed. You are thinking too much. Jungkook glanced beside him. Theong was watching him. How did you know? You get that look. What look? The depressing one, Jungkook snorted. That's rude. It's accurate. For the first time all day, Jungkook smiled. A small one, but Theong caught it, and something inside him relaxed. An hour later, they arrived. Jungkook stared and stared and stared. The mansion was huge, ridiculously huge. The kind of place that belonged in movies. Not real life, definitely not his life. You live here? Theong looked confused. Yes. Why? Now it was Theong's turn to stare. What kind of question is that? It's too big. I know. There are probably 20 families that could live there. I know. That's insane. I know. Jungkook looked genuinely horrified. Theong looked amused. Inside, things became even worse. The mansion has multiple floors, a private gym, an indoor pool, more rooms which Jungkook could count. Meanwhile, his precious bedroom had barely been larger than a closet. Theong led him upstairs, stopping outside a large room. This is yours. Jungkook opened the door and froze. The room alone was larger than his old apartment. There was a huge bed, a balcony overlooking the city. Everything looked expensive. Everything looked warm, safe, comfortable, home. The thought scared him. I can't stay here. Theong sighed. Here we go again. It's too much. No, it is. No. Listen. No. Jungkook glared. Theon glared back, a battle neither intended to lose. Eventually, Jungkook gave up first, mostly because he was exhausted. The night was difficult. The chemotherapy side effects arrived in full force. By midnight, Jungkook was shaken, his stomach twisted painfully, every muscle hurt, every breath still hurting. He curled into himself on a bathroom floor, trying not to make noise, trying not to bother anyone, because that's what he had always done, suffer quietly. An hour later, the bathroom door opened. Jungkook looked up quickly. Theong stood there, concern immediately replacing annoyance. Jungkook, I'm fine. You're literally on the floor. Floor is comfortable. No, it is not. The young man's face was pale. His hands were trembling, and there was dried blood on his sleeve from another coughing fit. Something twisted painfully in Theong's chest, a feeling he still couldn't name. Without saying a word, he crouched beside him. Jungkook frowned. What are you doing? Helping. I don't need help. That's unfortunate. Why? Because you're getting it anyway. Before Jungkook could protest, Theong carefully lifted him into his arm. Jungkook froze, completely froze. Theong, no, I can walk. No, put me down. No, you're annoying. I know. As for a brief moment, as Theon guided him toward the bed, Jungkook stopped arguing, stopped pretending, stopped acting strong, and simply rested his head against Theon's shoulder. Just for a second, just because he was tired, just because it felt safe. And for the first time since his diagnosis, the thought crossed his mind. Maybe he didn't want to die anymore. Jungkook woke up to sunlight. For a few seconds, he forgot where he was. The mattress was too soft, the room was too warm, the silence was too peaceful. Then he remembered Theong mentioned last night and the embarrassing fact that he had fallen asleep while being carrying like a child. Jungkook immediately buried his face in a pillow. That was humiliating. A few seconds later, he dragged himself downstairs. His body still weak, his stomach still hurt, but it was better than yesterday, at least a little. As he entered the dining room, he froze. The table was covered with food, way too much food, enough to feed an army. Meanwhile, Hyung sat at the head of the table, drinking coffee and reading documents like a mafia boss in a drama. Jungkook stared. Are you feeding the entire city? Hyung looked up. No. Then why is there enough food for 50 people? Because you barely eat. Jungkook blinked. That wasn't the answer he expected. Hyung pointed at a chair. Sit. Bossy. Sit. Jungkook said, mostly because arguing required energy and he didn't have much of that today. 10 minutes later, Theon was discovering that Jungkook was somehow even more difficult than expected. Eat. I am eating. That's one strawberry. It's a very nice strawberry. Theon pinched the bridge of his nose. Jungkook looked pleased with himself. Suddenly, Jungkook's phone vibrated. The younger man glanced at the screen, then immediately looked away. Too quickly, Theon noticed. What is it? Nothing. What is it? Nothing. Theon held out his hand. Jungkook stared. You want my phone? Yes, that's insane. Give it. No. 5 seconds later, Theon had the phone. Jungkook wasn't entirely sure how that happened. The screen displayed several messages. All from relatives. Theon opened the first one. His expression darkened immediately. What did you do? The hospital keeps calling. The second one was worse. Stop creating problem. Nobody has money for you. The third one, even worse. You should have accepted reality months ago. Silence. Dead silence. Jungkook suddenly wished the floor could have swallowed him. He hated this. He hated people saying it, seeing how pathetic his situation really was. Slowly, Theon lowered the phone. His jaw was clenched so tightly it looked painful. How long? Jungkook looked away. What? How long have they been talking to you like this? The younger man shrugged. Does it matter? Wrong answer. Very wrong answer, because Theon looked furious. Does it matter? His voice was dangerously quiet. Jungkook immediately regretted speaking. I just meant, I know what you meant. The older man stood. His chair crashed against the floor. Everyone in the room immediately became nervous, including the bodyguards, because they had recognized this mood, and it never ended well for someone. Jungkook sighed. Can we not do this? No. They're not important. They're your family. They stopped being family a long time ago. The words came out before he could stop them. The room became silent. Jungkook froze. Theon stared at him for the first time. Jungkook looked genuinely vulnerable. No jokes, no sarcasm, no fake smiles. Just sadness, raw and painful. When I got sick, everyone started leaving. His eyes lowered, first emotionally, then physically. The room felt heavy. Even the guards looked uncomfortable. Jungkook continued staring at the table. At first, everyone promised to help. A bitter smile. Then the treatments became expensive. Another pause. Then the doctors started talking about survival rates. And after that, silence. Nobody needed him to finish. They already knew. Theon suddenly hated cancer more than ever. Not because it was killing Jungkook, but it had stolen everything before even doing that. His health, his future, his family, his hope, everything. Jungkook quickly forced a smile. The similar fake smile. It's fine. Theon immediately spoke. No. Jungkook blinked. What? It's not fine. Nobody has ever corrected him before. Nobody has ever cared enough to. It's not fine, Theon repeated. His voice was firm, certain. And stop pretending it is. Something strange happened. Something neither of them expected. Jungkook's eyes suddenly filled with tears. He looked shocked himself, as if his own emotions had betrayed him. Quickly he stood. I need some air. Then he walked away, too fast. Before anyone could stop him, before anyone could see the tears falling, the mansion balcony overlooked the city. Jungkook stood there alone, trying to calm down, trying to breathe, trying not to cry. He hated crying. It made everything feel real. The loneliness, the fear, the possibility that he might die before even having a normal life. The balcony door opened. Of course it did. Jungkook didn't need to turn around. He already knew Taeyong. Neither spoke for a while. The city lights glittered below them. They went for school, comfortable, quiet. Finally, Jungkook whispered, "I'm scared." The confession surprised even him. The words slipped out before he could stop them. For a moment, he conceded, pretending he'd never said that. Then he felt ridiculous because Taeyong has already heard. "I'm scared of dying." The words trembled. "I'm scared of hoping. Because what if it doesn't work? What if I go through all this and still..." Then suddenly, a hand covered his. Warm, steady, strong. Jungkook froze. Taeyong didn't let go. Taeyong didn't let go. "Then we'll deal with it." Jungkook laughed bitterly. "We?" "Yes, we." Why? It was again the question Taeyong still couldn't answer properly. So instead, he stepped closer, not enough to overwhelm, just enough to be there, and quietly said, "Because I'm staying." Jungkook breathed hard, because nobody has ever said those words before. Not even when he got sick, not when the treatment failed, not when everyone else gave up. Nobody stayed, nobody, until now. And for the first time in a very long time, Jungkook let himself believe it. Just a little. Maybe Kim Taeyong meant it. To be continued. Story by Jority. Hope you like it. Please subscribe my channel, write comments to show me your love. Bye, Spairies.